Every man wants peace. Every man wants security. Every man wants rest. But somewhere along the way, we confused peace with comfort. And comfort has become one of the greatest enemies of Christian men. Not because comfort is always sinful, but because comfort slowly convinces you that you no longer need God. It whispers, "Tomorrow, you've done enough. You deserve this. You can pray later. You can start next week. You can change someday." And before you know it, weeks become months, months become years, and the man God called you to be never arrives. There's something terrifying about comfort, because it doesn't attack you. It doesn't announce itself, but it slowly puts your soul to sleep. Because most men don't wake up one morning deciding, "I want to waste my life." They simply become comfortable. Comfortable enough to stop growing. Comfortable enough to stop praying. Comfortable enough to stop fighting sin. Comfortable enough to settle for average. And comfortable enough to ignore God's calling. The danger. The enemy rarely destroys a man overnight, but he distracts him, he entertains him, he numbs him, because a distracted man looks exactly like a defeated man. He still goes to church, he still posts Bible verses, he still says he loves Jesus, but inwardly, he has stopped pursuing him. Now Scripture says in Revelation chapter 3 verse 16, "Because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth." We need to notice that Jesus doesn't rebuke hatred, but he rebukes indifference. Because the greatest danger isn't always rebellion. Sometimes it's becoming comfortable enough to stop burning. Now, God has always called men out of comfort. Think about it. God called Noah to build an ark before it ever rained. God called Abraham to leave everything familiar. God called Moses back to Egypt. David towards Goliath. Esther into danger. And the disciples away from their careers. He sent Paul across the world. He sent Jesus to the cross. Find me one man greatly used by God who stayed comfortable. You won't, because comfort has never produced kingdom impact, but faith does. Now in reality, Jesus never promised comfort. Jesus never said, "Follow me and life will be easy." But he said in Luke chapter 9 verse 23, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." Notice these words: deny yourself, not satisfy yourself, not entertain yourself, not reward yourself, but deny yourself. Because the Christian life isn't about making your flesh stronger, but it's about making your spirit stronger. Because every day, your flesh wants comfort, but your spirit wants Christ. Whichever one you feed becomes stronger. Comfort creates weak men. Comfort tells you to sleep in, but discipline says wake up and pray. Comfort says watch another episode. Discipline says read the word. Comfort says skip the workout. Discipline says strengthen your body. Comfort says push a boundary, but discipline says guard your purity. Comfort says buy it now. Wisdom says build first. And comfort says to quit, while faith says keep going. Every decision you make is casting a vote. You're either becoming the man God designed, or you're becoming the man comfort designed. The science. Modern neuroscience tells us something fascinating. Your brain naturally seeks efficiency and predictability. So habits that provide immediate rewards, like scrolling social media, junk food, binge watching, reinforce dopamine pathways that make those behaviors easier to repeat. While on the other hand, hard activities with delayed rewards, like exercise, studying scripture, serving others, building meaningful work, require intentional repetition before they become automatic. And research also shows that voluntarily embracing manageable challenges builds resilience and self-control over time. In other words, consistently choosing disciplined action strengthens your capacity to make disciplined choices in the future. And Scripture has been teaching this principle all along. Who we become is shaped by what we repeatedly practice. And Paul understood this. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, he says, "I discipline my body and keep it under control." Think about that. Paul didn't negotiate with comfort, but he mastered it. Because the body is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. If your feelings dictate your actions, you'll always remain immature. Comfort steals purpose. Now imagine standing before God someday. Imagine Him showing you the husband you could have become, the father, the leader, the servant, the disciple, the businessman, the friend, the warrior. Then imagine realizing that you traded it all for convenience, for endless scrolling, for laziness, excuses, and for comfort. That should shake every Christian man to wake up. Jesus in Gethsemane. Now, the greatest example for us to look at was Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane, because he knew what awaited him: pain, humiliation, death. And if anyone had reason to seek comfort, it was him. And yet he prayed in Luke chapter 22, verse 42, "Not my will, but yours be done." That sentence changed history. And sometimes your greatest breakthrough is hidden behind your greatest discomfort. The modern idol. Comfort has become our generation's idol, because we don't bow before statues anymore, but we bow before convenience. We worship whatever makes us feel good. We avoid anything that stretches us. But growth has never lived inside comfort. Muscles don't grow there. Character doesn't grow there. Faith doesn't grow there. Leadership doesn't grow there. Purpose doesn't grow there either. Because in reality, comfort zones become prisons. God uses the fire. Romans 5 says suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character. And character produces hope. God isn't wasting your trials, but God's forging you. Because steel is strengthened by fire. Gold is purified through heat. And men are shaped by adversity. And maybe the difficulty you've been praying away is the very tool God is using to build the man you've been praying to become. The challenge. So here's my challenge. This week, do something that's uncomfortable. Wake up earlier. Spend an hour in prayer. Delete the app that's stealing your attention. And read scripture before touching your phone. Go train. Apologize. Forgive. Serve someone. Share your faith. Start that business. Apply for the job. Have the difficult conversation and say yes to whatever God has been asking you to do, not because it's easy, but because obedience rarely is. Final charge. One day, comfort will always promise you another tomorrow, but don't believe it, because your calling is waiting on the other side of obedience. The man God created you to become isn't found in convenience. He isn't found in distraction. He isn't found in ease, but he's found on the narrow road, on the difficult road, the road that requires faith. So answer this question honestly. What comfort is keeping you from becoming the man God called you to be? You need to kill it before it kills your purpose, because history has never been changed by comfortable men, but only by faithful ones. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of self-control. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7.